So we all know that the UK introduced age verification to pretty much every service out there, but now the European Commission has created a prototype of an age verification solution where your personal information actually won't be stored. They made something called the European Digital Identity Wallet, which is EU wide and for all entities, and hopefully it'll come to the United States and other countries as well. And this will soon be accessible as a way to give age verification without actually having to worry about someone keeping your ID or your ID being able to be hacked or something like that. So it would be an app that you would download on your phone, and then when you go ahead and access the app, you're going to have two options on how to verify your age to a service. First, you have to consent to their processing of the personal information, and basically that they're going to protect your data and your information is only going to be used in this app only. Keep in mind, we have to take their word for it. Who knows what they're going to be doing with the information, but just use it with a grain of salt. You make a PIN number, 6-digit code, and then you have biometric access. So you use your fingerprint or facial recognition to access the app. Obviously, I would rather use my fingerprint. And then from here, you have the option to use either your national EID or your national IDP. I think this is a European thing, or your passport and ID card. Obviously, most of us would definitely not want to use this one. So most of us would pick the national EID instead. And it says over here, this verification is needed to create a proof of age that you are over 18. The EID details will not be shared with online services that you access. So let's say you pick the first option, which is a national identity document. So over here, it says request credentials for your age verification wallet. Please select your country of origin, test credentials provider. This credentials provider should only be used for issuing credentials for testing purposes. And then you have Form EU over here, which is, again, I think is a European thing. Hopefully America creates their own version of this app soon too. And then over here it says, are you over or under 18? If you pick over 18, they're going to use your EID to just basically collect if you're over 18, when you got your ID, when it expires, what country it was issued by. And that would be the only information that they would keep from your EID. So you're just marked as over 18, and they just know when you were issued your identification and when it will expire. So obviously this is way better for privacy. Obviously we all know about the whole Discord thing that happened a few days ago, having their IDs be leaked by the whole Discord age verification. This app claims to be non-traceable as well. And obviously there is a second option for a password or ID card. Like I said, would not recommend using this one because obviously they would have, a picture of your ID, but you would scan your ID like it's shown on screen, and they would basically match it up with your own facial recognition. And as you can see, the app claims to only keep a little bit of information from your ID, only your date of birth and the date that it expires. And then from there, you show a picture of your face or a video of your face, and then they match it up with your ID just to make sure that it matches. Like I said, would not like to use that method because whether or not they say they're keeping my information, they definitely did see the ID on screen. So that's not too good for me at all. But like I said, the app claims that everything is full privacy, no traceability at all. And when you are using services and stuff, you just go ahead and scan your EID or your app, like through the QR code on screen. And that's all that you need to prove your age when you're on some sort of website. Let's say you're on some sort of movie website and they, require age verification for you to be 18 and up to watch a certain movie. You would just scan through this European Union app and they would be able to tell that you're over 18. So it is pretty innovative technology. I would definitely, if I was, to use this app, and it seems like we're all gonna be forced to soon because age verification is everywhere, I would definitely pick the top option, the whole EID thing. I definitely wouldn't want to scan my passport because obviously you never know if they're actually going to be storing that information or not. Obviously, it sucks that the UK introduced age verification to begin with, but hopefully they can keep developing technology like that where we are actually able to use age verification without having to provide ID. I mentioned this in another video before. California has actually created an age verification law as well. However, they actually don't require users to upload sensitive photo information, personal information, IDs, anything like that. You just have to say whether you're over 18 or not, or your parents have to say. So obviously it's a lot easier to work around, but these laws won't take into effect until January 1st, 2027. So we have plenty of time to, maybe protest and change the laws around a little bit. I do live in California, so this one is going to be affecting me specifically, but I do like that they are taking the initiative of, listen, we don't want your personal information because obviously that is sensitive and it could get leaked. So the bill that was presented and passed is presented as a less invasive age verification. It requires operating system providers and developers to, quote, provide an accessible interface and account setup for users to indicate their birth date or age. Its goal is to provide protectance reminders on the internet, but they are specifically saying we don't want it to involve some sort of photo ID or personal information. Hopefully they can take a page out of the European Commission's book and try to make some sort of app where you are able to have some sort of digital wallet knowledge. So a website or service knows that you're over 18, but they don't have any other information about you. But they would be then put into age brackets. So data collected will determine if a user is under 13, between 13 and 16, between 16 and 18, or over 18 years old. Operating system providers are defined as a person or identity that develops, license, or controls the operating system software on a computer, mobile device, or any other general purpose computing device. That does involve Apple and Google, but the bill hasn't yet specified how exactly the company should complete those age checks. The only thing that they have specified is they would like it to not involve photo ID or any personal information. Like I said, there are currently no requirements for the uploading of government approved IDs or credit card information. That is the two ways that most people, both states in the United States or other countries in the world, are choosing to verify age with their users. All the bill states is that it is an opportunity for users to enter their age is provided. It also dictates that companies should only collect, quote, the minimum amount of information necessary to complete age checks and should not use it in an anti-competitive manner. So the law will be effective here in January 1st of 2027, but all the companies have until July 1st, 2027 to provide the necessary age verification steps. Any company that violates the laws will face fines of up to $2,500 per child for each negligent violation. Fines of up to $7,500 per affected child will be handed out for each intentional violation. The bill states that companies will not be punished if users lie or enter a false age as long as they have made, quote, a good faith effort to comply with the law. So, we can basically just say, yeah, I'm over 18. And, the companies wouldn't be held liable. And it seems like they would really have no way of telling if people are lying either. So Meta and Google have both supported the law while Apple has remained silent. I was talking about this in another video, but Apple has stated that they are very apprehensive in implementing this law and other types of age verification laws because they are worried about the fact that people are going to be having to give over a lot of personal information. But the person who made the law did assure Apple that they're going to be implementing some things to make sure that people aren't going to be giving up that much information to verify their ages. VPNs are also getting targeted a lot by multiple organizations and governments because obviously people are going to be leaning towards VPNs, changing their location to some country where there is no age verification and trying to bypass age verification that way. Now, there is some debate on whether or not this is ethical age verification or not, because obviously California's age verification bill is way less invasive than every other country and state. But there are people saying, concerns about cybersecurity risks and saying if this is even going to be a viable way to verify age or not. Because if all you have to do is say, oh, I am 18 and this is my birth date, then obviously people can lie about it. If all a user has to do in California's case is enter their date of birth at account creation, then a false age could easily be entered should the user be under 18. But if parents are setting up a child's device, then it is more likely a true age will be entered, but this isn't a guarantee. I'm not sure how they're going to verify, though, if a parent is the one entering the age and not the kid themselves. I'm not sure how they're going to figure that out. And this article is pointing out that other age verification laws are way stricter, but obviously that opens Pandora's box in the sense of those services getting hacked and then all your information is out there for everybody to see. California's bill is going to be asking you to verify your age at a device level upon signing up to any type of service or website. This then raises the question of whether your age would still need to be verified when you visit certain sites, or is there a way for the site to communicate with your device and determine age? Yeah, because that would be irritating. Imagine you verify your age on one website and then you have to just keep continuously doing it for all the other dozens of websites that you use. The article asks another few good questions. If age verification is done through Apple or Google when setting up your device, does this mean your age information is tied to your relevant Apple and Google accounts? Could you therefore use this information to access certain sites and bypass age checks? The bill raises a lot of questions about age verification effectiveness, but it could also be seen as more private than other states if no personal information beyond date of birth is required. To me, that's the most important part, and I'm sure you guys can agree. I want to make sure that if I am being forced to provide some sort of information, it doesn't get leaked in any sort of way. It is as safe as possible. I mean, the idea of being able to verify your age without having to provide any type of ID, that honestly seems good to me. VPNs weren't specifically mentioned in that bill's text, which differs from other age verification laws, because an age verification bill in Wisconsin, for example, called for sites to block VPN traffic as well as implement age checks. The UK's Online Safety Act, which is how we got into this whole mess in the first place, states that any site found to promote VPN usage as a way of passing age verification checks could face fines of up to 10% of global revenue or £18 million. The Children's Commissioner called for age verification on VPNs and described them as a, quote, loophole that needs closing. A report from the Commissioner's office recommended children should be blocked from using VPNs. If they decide to go down the route of blocking VPNs and making them illegal in general, that would be really messed up because a lot of people use VPNs to access dangerous websites and try to find out some sort of information. But apparently lawmakers in Michigan are asking for a VPN ban as part of its proposed Anti-Corruption of Public Morals Act. It seeks to prohibit the distribution of certain material on the internet that corrupts the public morals. This includes a ban on the sale and promotion of circumvention tools such as the VPNs. Basically, lawmakers in Michigan are trying to be your mommy and daddy in telling you what to and what not to watch. So So yeah, there seems to be a working method on how to verify your age without having to have a website or service store your information and take a look at your ID and all that type of stuff. So I'm glad that they're trying to at least implement tools that are going to be making it so you don't have to just hand over an ID. However, I think we can all agree this whole age verification thing really shouldn't have happened in the first place. It is way too hard to moderate, way too easy to work around, and it gets to the point where all of us are going to be having to provide age verification, ID, personal information to every single website, to the point where they're just collecting our information, selling it. And even if they do have good intentions themselves, sometimes they get hacked and our information ends up out there anyways. So it's literally a lose-lose situation. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more. See ya.